we're going to look at some problem solving today. Okay, now let's recap our quadrants again. So if you remember, this is actually a unit circle. It's originated from a unit circle drawn in 4 quadrants: quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. So in quadrant 1, all the functions are positive: sine, cos, and tangent. In quadrant 2, sine is positive. In quadrant 3, tangent is positive, and in quadrant 4, cosine is positive. Okay, so that's one. And another thing that we have seen previously is when an angle is measured in an anti-clockwise direction, the angle is positive. Okay, meaning it goes this way. Quadrant, that is how we actually label our quadrant. So this is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and so on. So it's actually measured in an anti-clockwise motion this way that you have. So when that happens, you actually get a positive angle. Now what if it is measured in the clockwise direction this way? So if it's actually measured this way, the angle is actually negative. So we start here. Alright, so it comes down to this quadrant first, followed by this, and it goes up this way. So two things you have to remember: when an angle is measured in a clockwise direction, the angle is actually negative, and when an angle is measured in an anti-clockwise direction, it's actually positive. So normally what we're used to is this type, this type. So we're also going to look at questions for the negative angles today. All right, so this is actually a very important concept for quadrants, and which functions are actually positive in which quadrant. Okay, number 2 is the positive and the negative angles. Right? Okay, so we're going to look at a question now. Okay, so now let's say you're given a question like this. All right, this is the diagram given to you. This is actually a unit circle. If you remember, a unit circle means a circle drawn with a radius of 1 unit. So normally what happens is this radius here is actually 1. Okay, so now what happens is you're given this diagram or labeled as such. Okay, this angle is 125 degrees. Okay, and they've given you a coordinate here. Okay, negative 0.57, 0.82. Okay, so now like always, this is an obtuse angle, so we actually need to find your corresponding or your reference angle, which is going to be here. All right, okay, so that means we actually construct a right angle triangle. So my angle here now, because this is actually a supplementary angle, so it's 125 plus this must give me 180, so meaning this is actually 55 degrees. All right, okay, means we move on to the question. So after labeling that, so the question wants you to find secant of 125. As we know, secant is actually 1 over cos of 125 degrees. Okay, cos of 125 is here, meaning if you're going to look for this angle, we're actually going to get help from this triangle. So this triangle is a right angle triangle, so we can actually label the height and the base based on the coordinates given. So this is for x, meaning this is 0.57. Okay, and here is 0.82. So if this unit circle, so if you actually use the Pythagoras theorem, this one is about almost 1. Okay, so the radius is 1. Okay, so that means now cos of 125 is actually cos of 55 degrees. Right? Okay, cos of 55, your angle is here. So cos is, this is opposite, so this is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so this is 1 over 0.57 over 1. So make it 0.57. But here you got to see, you got to be careful. Cos in, this is my second quadrant. Cos in the second quadrant is negative. So that means you got to add a negative here. Okay. So when you work this out, so you divide this, 1. Okay, it's about negative 1.754. Alright. Okay, so that's just based on your calculator lah. Okay, now we're going to look cosecant 125. Cosecant is actually 1 over sine 125. So again, sine in the second quadrant, this is positive. So I can actually write it as sine 55 degrees. Okay, sine 55 is actually 55, opposite over hypotenuse. So this is 1 over 0.82. So 1 over 0.82 is about 1.2195. Okay, all right. So what happens if it's cotangent? Now cotangent is actually 1 over tangent 125 degrees. So just the same. So this is 1 over tangent 55. Now tangent in the second quadrant is negative. So it's 1 over, okay, 55 tangent is actually opposite over adjacent. So it's negative 0.82 over 0.57. Okay, so it's a negative. So you actually get 1. So this is about 0.82 divided by 0.57. Okay, that will give me about 0.695. Okay, and it's a negative. Alright. So opposite 0.82 over 0.57. This is 1 over. So this is what we get. Okay. Last is tangent. Tangent of 125. So tangent of 125 is actually tangent of 55 degrees. Negative. Okay, so tangent 55 is negative 0.82 over 0.57. So you'll actually get a negative 1.436. 386. Okay, all right. Okay, so this, if it involves this kind of questions, yeah. Okay, just one more. Okay, what if it's secant 142 degrees? Secant 142 is here. Okay, so same thing. So if it's secant 142, so this is actually 1 over sine of 142 degrees. Alright, so here, okay, this is my reference angle. So you get about, this is 180, so you get about 38 degrees. So meaning this is actually 1 over sine of 38 degrees. Now this is in your second quadrant, means your sine is actually positive. So here you can actually use your calculator. 1 divided by sine of 38 degrees. So we get about 1.6243. Okay, 1.6243. Okay, all right. Okay, likewise here, if you are given cosecant 238, cosecant 238 is about here. So that means this is my angle, acute reference angle. So to get this will be 238 minus 180. So that will give you about 58 degrees. Okay, so cosecant is, sorry, it's a mistake here. This is secant, right? So this is cos. This is cos, sorry. So this is cos. So the angle here is wrong. So cos of 38 degrees. So you get about, and cos in your second quadrant is negative. So it's negative 1.269. Next to it is 0, so it's 1.269. Okay, so now for this one, cosecant, sorry about this, this is secant, so this is cos, 1 over cos. Okay, so cosecant is 1 over sine 238. So here just now we got is 58 degrees. So 1 over sine 58 degrees. Now sine is actually in the third quadrant, so this is a negative. So use your calculator. So it's 1 sine of 58. So it actually get negative 1.1792. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay, so these are some of the questions that we can actually solve, okay, using the concept, using the 4 quadrants, and also making sure whether the angles are actually positive or negative angles. Thank you.